Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to ask you something very simple but very powerful. Have you ever wondered why some people become rich even when they start with nothing? And why others stay in the same place for years? What if the secret is not money, but the way they think? What if thinking like the rich could completely change your life, your habits, and even your future? Stay with me, because today you will learn the mindset that helps rich people grow, win, and keep moving forward even when things get hard. Chapter 1. There was a young man named Saad. He lived in a small house at the edge of a noisy street. His clothes were simple, his pockets were almost always empty, and sometimes he did not even know what he would eat the next day. But if you looked into his eyes, you would see something different. You would see a kind of quiet strength that many people around him did not have. He had no money, but he had a strong mind. He had no fancy education, but he had hunger to learn. He had no guidance, but he had a deep belief that his life could change. Every morning, he walked past big houses and expensive cars, and instead of feeling jealous, he told himself, "One day, I will understand how people reach this level. One day, I will learn how to build something of my own." People around him laughed at him because his dreams looked too big for someone who had nothing. But Saad did not let their laughter break him. He thought quietly, "Maybe I don't have money yet, but I have my mind, and I will use it." Rich thinking always starts with belief. It starts with a simple sentence that sounds small but is powerful. I can learn. I can grow. I can change my life. Saad repeated this sentence to himself again and again. At first, it felt strange because no one around him talked like that. Most people in his neighborhood said things like, "Life is hard. Nothing will change. It is all fate. It is all luck." But Saad did not accept this. He believed that even if he did not know everything now, he could learn something new every day. He believed that he was not stuck forever. He believed that small steps could take him somewhere bigger. His belief did not make him rich immediately, but it made him different. It made him think in a new way. Poor mindset waits for luck. It waits for something magical to happen. It says, "One day I will get lucky. One day something good will happen on its own." But rich mindset does not wait. Rich mindset creates chances. It says, "What can I do today? What can I learn? Who can I ask? What skill can I improve?" Saad slowly understood this difference. He noticed how people around him wasted time talking about problems but never solving them. They blamed the government, the economy, their parents, their bosses, their past. But blaming did not bring change. It only brought more sadness. One evening, as Saad watched people complain again, he thought, "I don't want to live like this. I want to think like the people who move forward. I want to think like the rich." Thinking like the rich is not about money, it is about habits. Rich people read because reading gives new ideas. Rich people ask questions because questions open new doors. Rich people stay curious because curiosity shows them different ways to grow. Rich people stay calm during problems because a calm mind can find solutions. These habits are simple, but they are powerful. Saad did not have money to buy many books, but he found old books in a library near his house. He read slowly, sometimes one page for several minutes because English was difficult for him. But he kept reading. He asked people questions whenever he met someone smarter than him. He watched videos that taught him new things. Little by little, he saw new ideas forming in his mind. He felt himself growing quietly on the inside. Then came the emotional moment that changed everything. One night, Saad sat alone on the roof of his house. He looked at the dark sky and he felt something heavy in his chest. He thought about his life. He thought about his struggles. He thought about how he always dreamed big but never took bold steps. Suddenly, a strong feeling washed over him. He realized that no one was coming to save him. No one was coming to hand him success. No one was coming to change his life for him. And in that moment, he decided to change his thinking forever. He whispered to himself, "If I keep thinking like everyone around me, I will live the same life. But if I think like the rich, if I learn like the rich, if I act like the rich, then my life will start changing." That night, he promised himself that he would never again allow his mind to be small. Rich people see problems differently. They do not see them as walls that stop them. They see them as lessons that push them. They understand that every problem carries a message, a skill, or a chance to grow. Saad took this idea seriously. When something went wrong, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" he started asking, "What can this teach me? How can I become stronger from this?" This change in thinking made him feel more in control. He stopped feeling helpless. He started feeling powerful. Saad's mind grew stronger day by day. But he soon learned something important. A strong mind must also use time wisely. A strong mind cannot grow if time is wasted. And that leads us to the next chapter. Because once rich people strengthen their mind, the next thing they learn is how to use time like a valuable treasure. Right now, but more than 700 words. Chapter 2. Time is Money. How Rich People Use Time. Detailed outline. Begin with a moment where the character wastes time, then realizes the truth. Explain how rich people value time more than money because money can come back, but time cannot. Show habits, planning the day, writing small goals, waking early, avoiding distractions. Add a spike moment. The character meets someone successful who explains how 1 hour a day can change their life. Explain the daily 1% rule. Small progress every day becomes big success. Show emotional motivation. The character starts seeing results. Connect to next chapter. Once they manage their time, they focus on learning skills. Chapter 2. Saad did not understand the true value of time until one long, empty afternoon. It was a Sunday, and he spent the whole morning lying on his bed, scrolling through his phone, watching random videos, and laughing at useless jokes. Hours passed, but nothing in his life changed. When he finally looked at the clock, he felt shocked. Half the day was gone, and he had done nothing meaningful. He sat up slowly and looked around his small room. It felt messy, silent, and still, as if the world was moving forward, but he was standing in the same spot. A strange sadness settled in his chest. He whispered to himself, "If I waste time like this every day, how will my life ever change?" That moment hit him hard. It was the first time he realized he was not poor because he had no money. He was poor because he had no control over his time. That day became a turning point for him. Rich people understand something very simple but very powerful. Money can come back, but time cannot. If they lose money, they can earn it again. If they make a mistake in business, they can try again. But if they waste a day, an hour, or even a minute, that time is gone forever. Saad began to see the truth in this idea. He realized that many people around him wanted success, but they wasted their time talking, complaining, gossiping, scrolling through their phones, or waiting for the perfect moment to start. He noticed that poor mindset treats time as if it is free, but rich mindset treats time like diamonds precious, rare, and important. This understanding changed something inside Saad. He decided he would never again waste time carelessly. He wanted to protect his time just like rich people protect their money. Slowly, he began to build new habits. He started planning his day each morning. He would sit with a small notebook and write down 3 simple tasks he wanted to finish. He did not write big, complicated goals. He wrote small steps like read for 20 minutes, learn 5 new English words, watch a video that teaches a skill. These small steps made him feel more organized. He also started waking up earlier. It was not easy at first because he loved sleeping late, but he forced himself to get up before the Sunday. When he woke early, he felt a quiet peace in the air. He felt like the world was still asleep while he was preparing for his future. He also learned to avoid distractions. He turned off notifications on his phone. He stopped watching videos that wasted time. Every time he felt tempted, he reminded himself, time is money, and I cannot afford to lose it. Then came a spike moment that changed Saad forever. One evening, he met a man named Farhan, a successful entrepreneur who used to live in the same neighborhood years ago. Farhan had left the area long ago, but he returned to visit a friend. Saad had always admired him. With a little courage, Saad approached him and asked, "How did you change your life?" Farhan smiled and said, "I changed the way I use time. Most people waste their evenings watching shows or scrolling on their phones. I spent just 1 hour every day learning something new. Just 1 hour. That 1 hour changed everything." Saad listened with wide eyes as Farhan continued. If you give 1 hour each day to your growth without skipping, you will become a completely different person in 1 year. Those words touched Saad deeply. 1 hour sounded small, but the way Farhan said it made it feel powerful, almost magical. That night, Saad discovered the 1% rule. The rule was simple: make your life 1% better every day. Do one small thing each day that moves you forward. Read 1 page, learn 1 new word, practice 1 new skill, save a little money, clean 1 small area. 1% may look small today, but after many days, weeks, and months, that 1% becomes huge. Small progress becomes big success. Saad liked this idea because it did not require big money or big talent. It only required commitment. As days passed, Saad started seeing results. He felt more focused. His mind became clearer. His confidence grew. He began to understand English better because he was consistent with reading. He felt proud because he was controlling his time instead of letting his time control him. He noticed that when he respected his time, people around him also began to respect him more. His day felt meaningful. His heart felt strong. Every night before sleeping, he looked at his list of tasks and said, I completed something today. I grew today. Saad's life was slowly changing, not because he became rich overnight, but because he learned to manage his most valuable resource, time. And now that he understood how rich people value time, he was ready for the next big step, learning the skills that build success. Because once a person controls their time, the next question becomes, what should they learn during that time? And that leads us to the next chapter, where Saad begins to understand the power of skills and how they can change a person's entire future. Chapter 3. Saad had changed his thinking, and he had learned to use his time wisely. But even with these changes, there were days when he still felt stuck. He looked at himself and realized he only knew one thing: basic labor work. He could lift heavy boxes, clean, and do simple tasks. But he could not speak English well. He did not know how to communicate confidently. He did not know how to use a computer. He did not understand money. And when he thought about people who were successful, he noticed they had many skills. They could explain ideas clearly. They could talk to anyone. They could solve problems. They could learn new things easily. Saad felt small compared to them. He sat on his chair late one night and whispered, "How can I grow if I only know one thing?" That question stayed in his mind for days. Rich people understand something very important. Money follows skills. Skills are like seeds. When you plant them, water them, and take care of them, they grow into opportunities. Rich people never stop learning. They learn communication skills because speaking clearly opens doors. They learn English because the world speaks English and it helps them connect with more people. They learn money skills because understanding money helps them grow it. They learn thinking skills because good thinking leads to good decisions. Saad slowly began to see this pattern. He understood that if he wanted his life to improve, he needed to improve himself first. He needed to learn new skills, even if it felt difficult. He needed to grow beyond what he already knew. Learning English was the easiest example he could see. People who spoke English confidently always got better jobs. They had more confidence. They could talk to customers, bosses, and even foreign visitors. They understood instructions better. They learned faster because they could watch videos and read books in English. Saad realized that learning English could open new doors for him too. Another example was communication. People who communicated clearly were respected. They could express ideas, solve conflicts, and work with others more effectively. Saad had always stayed quiet because he feared speaking incorrectly. But he knew deep inside that strong communication could give him new courage. It could help him stand straight, speak confidently, and express his thoughts. Soon, Saad learned a new idea: growth skills versus comfort skills. Comfort skills are easy. You already know them. They don't make you nervous. They don't challenge you. They don't grow you. Rich mindset does not choose comfort skills. Rich mindset chooses growth skills. Growth skills feel uncomfortable at first. They make your heart beat fast. They confuse you. They make you doubt yourself. But those are the skills that change your life. Those are the skills that open the future. Saad realized he had been stuck in comfort skills his whole life. He was scared to try anything new, so he kept doing the same old things. And because he did the same old things, his life stayed the same. This realization was powerful. It felt like someone had finally turned on the light in a dark room. Then came a spike moment, a moment that shook Saad on the inside. One evening, his friend invited him to a small community class where people were learning basic computer skills. Saad felt afraid to go. He thought he was too old. He thought he was not smart enough. He thought others would laugh at him, but he remembered his promise to himself. He remembered that rich people push through fear because fear is the door to growth. So he went. In the class, the instructor asked everyone to type their name on the computer. Saad's hands were shaking. His heart was beating fast. He pressed the wrong keys many times. People around him were faster. He felt embarrassed. But then something small happened. He typed his name correctly. Just his name. But that small success filled him with pride. It was proof that he could learn something new. It was proof that he was not stuck. His fear slowly turned into excitement. He felt alive. After that day, Saad became hungry for skills. He started practicing English every evening. He watched simple videos. He read small paragraphs. He wrote down new words. He practiced speaking in front of a mirror. His confidence slowly grew. He also practiced communication by talking to shopkeepers, neighbors, and even strangers in small, simple sentences. At first, he made mistakes, but he kept going. Each small improvement made him stronger. He continued his computer classes, learning typing, email, and basic software. These new skills made him feel powerful. He started to think in a new way. He started to believe, I can become more than I am today. His world began to open. Skills brought him new opportunities. He started getting small freelance tasks from people who needed basic computer help. He helped someone write emails. He helped someone fill out forms. He helped someone research something online. They paid him small amounts, but it felt big to him because it came from his skills, not his physical labor. Skills also gave him new ideas. He realized he could start something on his own someday. He could build something. He could grow something. Skills made him confident. They changed the way he walked, spoke, and thought. Saad finally understood the truth. Skills create success. Skills give freedom. Skills shape the future. And now that he was learning skills, he was ready for the next big lesson, understanding money. Because rich people not only learn skills, they also learn how money works. And that leads us to the next chapter, where Saad discovers how rich people think about money and how they use it wisely. Chapter 4. Saad was learning new skills and slowly growing into a better version of himself. But one afternoon, something happened that opened his eyes to another powerful truth. He was walking home from work when he saw a new cafe selling cold drinks. The weather was hot, and without thinking, he walked in and bought the most expensive drink they had. It tasted good, but the happiness lasted only for a few minutes. When he checked his wallet later, he realized he had almost no money left for the week. He sat on a bench outside the cafe and looked at the empty cup in his hand. For the first time, he thought deeply about how easily he spent his money without thinking. This small moment became a big wake-up call. He realized that growing skills was not enough. If he wanted a better future, he needed a new relationship with money. Rich people understand money in a very different way. Poor mindset says, spend first, save later. Poor mindset buys things to feel good for a short moment. Poor mindset thinks money is only for today, not for the future. But rich mindset works in the opposite way. Rich mindset says, save first, spend later. Rich mindset protects money. Rich mindset plans before buying anything. Rich mindset grows money instead of killing it. Saad slowly started to see this difference in people around him. Some people spent their salary on clothes, new phones, fast food, or things they did not need. They posted pictures online to look rich, but by the end of the month, they were broke and stressed. Meanwhile, people who were truly rich didn't show off. They didn't try to look important. They didn't buy things to impress others. They grew their money quietly, step by step. Saad decided to study these habits closely. He learned a simple idea. If you cannot control how you spend, you cannot control how you live. He realized that many people were poor not because they earned less, but because they spent more than they needed. So he started practicing small habits. The first habit was saving a little bit every day. Even if he saved just a few coins, he wanted to build the discipline. Then he started thinking before buying anything. He asked himself, do I really need this or do I just want it? This small question changed many of his decisions. He stopped buying snacks every day. He stopped buying small things that tempted him. He learned to walk away from things that looked attractive but were not truly necessary. Soon he discovered an important truth rich people follow: needs versus wants. Needs are things that help you survive and grow. Wants are things that make you feel good for a moment but add no value to your life. Rich people understand this difference very well. Poor mindset mixes the two and spends money on wants while ignoring needs. Saad started listing his needs and wants in his notebook. It opened his eyes. He realized he had been spending money on many wants disguised as needs. Slowly, he cut these unnecessary expenses and began controlling his wallet better. Then came a powerful spike moment. One evening, Saad sat down with a piece of paper and wrote all the unnecessary things he had bought in the last 3 months: small snacks, unplanned drinks, cheap gadgets that broke, new shirts he wore only once, random things he bought just because they were on sale. When he added everything, he felt a shock run through his body. The total amount was huge, more than enough to buy books, take a course, save for emergencies, or even start a small side project. He felt a deep mix of regret and anger, but he also felt motivated. He whispered to himself, "I wasted so much because I did not know better, but now I will do better." Saad learned another simple rule that rich people follow: save first, then spend. Every time he earned money, he took out a small portion and kept it aside before touching anything else. This small act made him feel in control. And when he had enough savings, he learned a new idea: small investments. He was not ready for big investments yet, but he understood he could start with tiny steps. He invested in learning. He invested in improving his skills. He invested in things that would help him grow in the future. These small investments brought him peace. He felt like he was building something quietly, brick by brick, without showing off. The more he learned about money, the more respect he developed for it. He understood why rich people don't buy things to impress others. They don't care about showing off because their focus is on growing. They know that money needs protection, planning, and patience. They treat money like a seed. If you plant it carefully, water it, and protect it, it grows into something powerful. But if you waste it, it disappears forever. Saad's confidence grew even more. He started feeling lighter because he wasn't drowning in useless spending. He started feeling calmer because he had savings. He started feeling stronger because he had control. And now that he understood money, he realized something deeper. Rich people not only manage their money, they also choose the right people around them. Because the people around you can either lift you up or pull you down. And that leads to the next chapter, where Saad learns how rich people build strong circles that help them grow. Chapter 5: Environment: Who you spend time with matters. The sun was low in the sky, and the character sat on a broken plastic chair outside a small street shop. Around them, the same group of friends gathered, friends they had known since childhood. These friends were not bad people, but their conversations were always the same. One complained about his job, another blamed the government, someone else said life was unfair. Every sentence was filled with anger, jealousy, or hopelessness. The character listened quietly. Each complaint felt like a heavy stone added to their heart. The more the group talked, the more drained the character felt. Their friends laughed at people who tried to improve their lives. They made fun of anyone who dreamed big. They said rich people were cheating, lucky, or dishonest. Deep inside, the character felt something uncomfortable. They asked themselves silently, "Is this what I want to hear every day? Is this the kind of energy I want in my life?" For the first time, the answer came clearly: no. But knowing the answer and acting on it were two different things. This moment was important because rich people understand something powerful. Your environment decides your direction. If you sit around dream killers, your dreams die. If you sit around complainers, you complain. If you sit around learners, you learn. Rich people are not always born rich. Many start with nothing, but they have one secret. They surround themselves with people who push them forward, not backward. They choose positive people who talk about ideas, not gossip. People who dream, not doubt. People who learn, not complain. People who help, not hurt. The character didn't fully understand this yet, but life was about to teach them. A few days later, as the character walked home from work, they saw someone sitting on a bench near the road, a man they recognized from long ago. His name was Sami, someone who used to struggle just like everyone else in the neighborhood. But now, he looked confident, calm, and focused. He greeted the character warmly. They sat and talked, and soon the character realized this was not the same Sammy from years ago. He had changed. His words were cleaner, his energy was stronger, his thoughts were clearer. He talked about books, skills, health, business, ideas, things the character rarely heard from anyone around them. Then came the spike moment, the moment that shook the character's heart. Sammy said, "Your life will not change until your environment changes. You cannot grow in the same place that breaks you. You cannot become positive while living in negativity. You cannot dream big when you sit with people who laugh at dreams." These words hit the character deeply. It felt like someone had pressed a switch inside their mind. Sammy explained that when he was younger, he also sat with friends who made excuses every day. They complained about life, but never tried to improve their situation. Staying with them felt comfortable, but it was killing his future. So he made a difficult choice. He limited his time with negative people and started spending time with people who were working on themselves. He joined small study circles. He attended community workshops. He talked to people who were learning English, learning new skills, improving their mindset. Even when he felt shy, he went anyway. Even when he felt behind, he kept going. Slowly, his environment changed. And as his environment changed, his life changed. Rich people understand something simple. Our environment is stronger than your willpower. You might be strong, but if you sit in darkness every day, you lose your light. You might be smart, but if you sit with lazy people every day, you lose your motivation. You might be kind, but if you sit with bitter people every day, you lose your peace. Sammy encouraged the character to join a small learning group in the area. It was not a fancy place. It was just a few people who met every week to read a book, watch educational videos, practice English, or discuss ideas. But the energy was different, clean, positive, growing. The character decided to try. When they walked into the group for the first time, they felt nervous. Would they fit in? Would people judge them? But within a few minutes, they noticed something surprising. Everyone was kind. Everyone was curious. Everyone wanted to learn. There were no complaints, no excuses, no negativity, just growth. The character felt inspired, motivated, and hopeful for the first time in a long while. They realized that being around positive people made them feel alive. Their thoughts became clearer. Their goals felt possible. Their confidence slowly grew. Cutting out negative friends was not easy. They still cared for them. But they knew one truth now. Protecting your mind is more important than pleasing others. So they reduced their time with those who drained their energy. They chose peace instead of stress, growth instead of gossip, dreams instead of doubt. With a strong environment filled with dreamers, learners, and helpers, the characters started to feel ready for something bigger. They had improved their mindset. They had learned to use time wisely. They had built skills. They had fixed their money habits. And now they had found a positive environment. There was only one thing left, the final and most powerful step rich people use to change their life. Chapter 6: Consistency, the final key of rich thinking. The character sat by the window late at night, looking at the small notebook where they had written their new goals. They whispered softly to themselves, I changed my mind. I changed my time. I learned new skills. I fixed my money habits. I chose better people. But why do I still feel slow? Why does success still feel far away? This question was honest, heavy, and real. Many people feel this way when they start growing. They expect fast results. They want to see big change quickly. And when things move slowly, they doubt themselves. The character felt the same heaviness. They wondered if they were doing something wrong. But this moment of doubt was actually important. It was the moment that separates the old mindset from the rich mindset. Because rich people know a simple golden rule that many people never learn. Consistency wins, consistency builds, consistency transforms. Rich people are not successful because they are always excited or always motivated. No, they are successful because they keep going even on the days when life feels boring, slow, or difficult. They repeat small steps again and again until those small steps become powerful habits. The character did not understand this fully yet, but they were about to learn it in the most emotional way. Every morning, the character woke up early to study. They practiced English. They wrote their goals. They avoided negative company. They saved money. They worked on their skills. And for a while, everything felt good. They saw small progress. Their confidence started growing. They felt hopeful. But then came a hard week. Work became stressful. A family problem appeared. The weather was bad. Their routine became messy. Their motivation dropped. They skipped one day of study, then 2 days, then three. Soon the character felt like giving up. They thought, maybe this is too hard. Maybe I am not made for this. Maybe growth is not for people like me. This was the spike moment of the chapter, the emotional moment where everything seemed to break. The character felt tired and disappointed. They sat on their bed and closed their eyes, feeling the weight of their fears. But then a small memory appeared in their mind, a voice they remembered clearly. It was the voice of Sammy, the positive friend who had inspired them weeks ago. Sammy had once said, slow progress is still progress. One day of learning is better than none. 1 hour of growth is better than zero. Consistency does not mean being perfect. It means not giving up. These words opened something inside the character. They realized they had been too hard on themselves. Growth is not a straight line. Some days are strong, some days are weak. Some days you feel like a champion. Some days you feel like you are starting from zero again. But rich thinkers understand one thing. Success does not come from one big step. It comes from thousands of small steps repeated every day. The character wiped their eyes and took a deep breath. They picked up their notebook again. They wrote one sentence, I will not stop. This was the turning point. The next day, they woke up early again, not with full energy, not perfectly, but with commitment. They studied for just 15 minutes. It was not much, but it was something. The next day, They studied for 20 minutes. The day after, 30 minutes. The character realized something powerful. Consistency brings back motivation. Motivation does not always bring consistency. Slowly, their life began to change again. Their English improved a little more. Their skills became stronger. Their savings started growing. Their confidence felt more solid. And the most beautiful thing was this: they were not scared of going back to the old version of themselves anymore because now they had a habit of moving forward every day. Rich people understand that consistency builds everything. Consistency builds discipline. Consistency builds confidence. Consistency builds skill. Consistency builds success. Even when no one is watching, even when results are not showing, even when progress feels slow, those who stay consistent become unstoppable. The character realized that thinking like the rich was not about speed. It was not about luck. It was not about talent. It was about daily practice, small, simple actions done again and again. By the end of the chapter, the characters smiled with a new understanding. They whispered to themselves, "Thinking like the rich is not magic. It is a daily practice, and I can do it every day." This was the final piece. This was the last key. And with this key mindset, time, skills, money, habits, environment, and consistency, the character finally stepped into a new version of themselves. A version that could grow, a version that could succeed, a version that could create a better future. If you enjoyed this story and want to learn more simple English lessons, inspiring life changing stories, and helpful videos that make learning easy and fun, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like this video, it really helps us reach more people. Also, leave a comment below and tell me what topic you want to learn about next. Your support means a lot and helps this channel grow so we can keep creating videos that help learners just like you. Thank you for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.